Welcome back to another New World video. This time it's going to be a much quicker ultimate guide video than all the other ones I've ever posted. This time we're going straight into an M10. We're going into Barnacles and Black Powder. We're going straight to the final boss, Neried, if that's how you pronounce it. Now, in my ultimate guide video, which I'll link down below, for the whole of the Barnacles expedition, when I recorded that one, New World had removed this REND damage that the final boss applies on pretty much everybody, almost in the final fight. So I couldn't show you that in that video, and I've had a couple of questions on that video. I've seen a bunch of people in global chat and recruitment chat and all this kind of stuff in game, all complaining that now that the renders come back, that's too hard to do, it's too difficult, everyone's dying and all this kind of stuff. So we'll basically I jumped straight into the game today. This is what day are we? Wednesday. So the mutation came back out yesterday on this rotation. I didn't get a chance to play yesterday. I jumped straight in today. Now I know the healer in this group. I don't know the 3 DPSs, so this isn't like a BIS group or anything like that. It's just a bog standard group finder. Obviously, apart from myself and the healer, we know each other. We jumped straight into it, and I recorded the final boss fight before I even knew what was going to happen. I didn't know if we were going to wipe. I didn't know if it was going to go well. I don't know. But however, I do think I found the key thing to beating this final boss. It's one single weapon perk, okay? So I'm going to show you this fight. It's only like 6 minutes long. There's a couple of things we can explain in there to help the fight go a little bit better. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so here we go. So we went straight into the fight. Now the only thing I changed from the rest of the dungeon until this boss fight is I changed to a spear. Now we're going to explain that in a minute. I know thrust damage isn't the world's greatest against this final mob, but I'm going to tell you why I changed to a spear in just a moment. So I changed to a spear and I equipped 3 pieces of the Harbinger set, which is the Angry Earth gear. I've been told quite a lot like you should be using Angry Earth. It looks like it does have a little bit of an effect, but because of this rend that the boss is applying on this final fight, it kind of negates it a bit, because if you're using 3 different pieces, you got less than 25% reduction, which is definitely good. So basically one thing I would definitely say is if you've got an Angry Earth set, a ward set that is, of armor, definitely equip it before this final boss. It does look like it makes a difference. So yeah, make sure you equip that. That's the first thing I'd mention. Now, obviously on this version of the mutator, it's the one where if you do 3 skills in a quick succession, you then take 3 times, like, oh, is it 30% rend or something, or 3 times the amount of damage. You take a lot of damage if you spam all your skills. So like the first thing I would say in this boss fight, whilst this is the mutation, don't spam all your skills. Another obvious one is it's just like the arena, the siren arena. All the basic attacks are pretty much the same, so watch out for those. When she throws the lightning sword, it looks like, or like a lightning hammer, obviously don't stand in that circle. And then that's obviously basic. Now, while she's in these whirlwind modes, basically try your absolute best to not stand in the whirlwinds. That goes for the same for the tornado that's going around the outside edges of the dungeon. Stay away from those 2 sets of circles or whirlwinds, whatever you want to call them, and you won't take any of the rend stacks on you. I don't know if you noticed that. Now you can see there at the bottom where my health bar is. You got the stacks of rend. Now these stacks of rend will go over time. They will remove, as you can see quickly, they do remove eventually. Now I'm going to tell you what I think is the key to beating this final boss, whether you have 1 user or 2. I wouldn't ever go more than 2. I don't think you need more than 2. You need 2 players to use the spear. So as a tank, I can definitely use it as my off weapon, and then if one of the DPS players can just switch to a spear, it doesn't have to do damage. So long as that spear has got the perk, and this is what I think is the key to beating this final boss pretty easily, enfeebling skewer perk. Now 9 out of 10 endgame players in New World will know what the enfeebling skewer perk is. I'll pop up the stats on the video now so you can see that. Essentially, if you place it on your armor, you get and then you do the damage from your spear. You got the armor perk. You reduce it by like 20-something% damage of what that mob does for, I think it's 8 seconds. Again, I'll put it up on screen just in case the percentages are slightly different. You'll be able to see the actual facts. Now, if you can get a spear with the enfeebling skewer perk on, and you do the skewer attack like you can see I'm doing in rotations here along with the perforate, you will make sure that that boss is currently doing, I think it's 44%, yeah, 44% reduced damage, which basically negates all of those rends that she's added onto. If she adds 3 stacks, 5 stacks, 8 stacks, 10 stacks, right? First of all, like we said earlier on in this video, it's only going to be a quick one. Like we said earlier in this video, stay out of the whirlwinds. You're not going to receive any rend if you stay out of the whirlwinds. but use the enfeebling skewer perk. If the tank can use it, and then obviously if you've got good voice comms, basically tank uses it, count your 8 seconds, give or take, and then one of the DPS players use it, you will almost always stack enfeebling skewer, which means that this boss, again, almost always will be doing nearly half damage than it will be doing to any other group that does this final boss, whether it's in mutations or not. You'll be reducing its damage by nearly half, which basically makes almost all of those rends not do that, as you know what I mean, not do that much damage like they have been doing. Now again, I want to do stress, it's M10. I don't think this is like some kind of game breaking perk. In PvE it's very, very good. If you hit someone with enfeebling skewer and you know you're reducing their damage by 44%, that is huge. Now in PvE, if you stack it right, so for example, I'm using the enfeebling skewer and then using the not fortify, sorry, just the perforate, which means I'm putting rend on the boss, which means we're doing more damage to them. But basically, once that 8 seconds goes down and then the boss starts doing more damage again, you basically just say to your DPS player, yo, your turn, you use enfeebling skewer. And that's basically it. This fight, like I said, I've not played the Barnacles dungeon for 2 or 3 weeks since it was last in Mutator. This is only my second or third attempt at M10 because I didn't get a lot of time in the last weekly rotation, you know, to get all the way up to M10. I think we got up to M9 and I ran out of time, I think. So this is like, yeah, my second or third entire go of doing M10, and it's got the rend back. So this is the first time me fighting against this boss with this rend that New World have added back in weeks, you know what I mean? Because it was only a couple of fights when in the PTR and in the normal dungeon that we had this rend. So that's basically it, guys. As you can see here, we're doing this with 3 damage dealers who we don't know. I don't think they were using like absolute perfect weapons, because as you can see, there's a couple of great axes in there. There's not many warhammers. There's no ice mages, for example. Ice damage is really good in here. So yeah, and as you can see, we do this first time, we get an M10 gold, which is nice. Not the world's fastest run. I'm sure there are a lot of people commenting in this video, oh, we did this in 15 minutes. Sure, okay, but this is with a random group, mostly random group. All the damage deals are randomers, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to show you guys. I think this one single perk is the we'll pause this there on the screen. There we go. There's our time. So what do we do that in 40 minutes? Wow, bang on 40 minutes. That almost looks rigged. So like I said, this is not by any means the fastest run, because the rest of the run we were waiting for a couple of mobs to spawn and stuff like that, which is a little bit annoying. But essentially, all I'm trying to show you here is enfeebling skewer perk. If your tank, I think in my opinion, if your tank can change his second weapon, obviously sword and shield is the main, to the enfeebling skewer spear, and then at least just one of your DPS players also has the secondary weapon. So keep all your ice gauntlets doing all that damage and your warhammers doing all that damage and stuff like that. You know, your nature gems or whatever you're doing in the specific dungeon to do that extra damage. Make sure that they keep all their normal weapons, but just one DPS player, maybe even a tank. Just the 2 of you should work. You can do 3 if you're a little bit worried, and then just call out in your voice comms. You know, tank, I've just done the enfeebling skewer, roughly count 8 to 10 seconds. Next person does enfeebling skewer, then the next person does it, and basically this boss will do nearly 50% less damage through the entire boss fight. So there it is, guys, enfeebling skewer. If you can't get the perk on the actual spear itself, it's not going to be as effective because it's 20-something%. So definitely try and get the enfeebling skewer perk on the spear itself. Get a couple of members who've got that in your group, and I think you're going to absolutely fly through this. I think that's going to stop a lot of people in global chats complaining that it's too hard with all this new rend stacks that have been added in, especially in the mutations. But yeah, guys, give it a go. If it works out well for you, let me know in the comment section down below. If it still doesn't work for you, let me know. Maybe we can talk through it in the comment section. I'm going to put all my links on the screen to my Twitch. You know what I mean? If you want to check me out playing this live, that'd be sweet. You know what I mean? Jump into the chat. And if you think this guide was useful, and we've got plenty more coming, feel free to drop a sub on the channel, a like on the video, all that kind of stuff. And guys, we will see you in the next one.